Oh, yes. Anyone who wants to lead? Is there anyone?
Me to start?
Yes. Oh, I see so many hands raised on the video. Okay. Just give me
You
a
are
second.
my hearted it.
Fantastic. That's music to my ears. Okay. So yes, I think Chitra, you can go ahead and you had your hand raised, right?
Okay, I'm raising it now, but yes, I can manage.
Okay, great. Please lead us into the chat.
Okay. Dhritarashtra Ovacha
Dhritarashtra Uvacha
राष्ट्राच्या उवाचा
Dharmakshetre Karmakshetre
धर्मक्षेत्रे
धर्मक्षेत्रे
कुरुक्षेत्रे
कुरुक्षेत्रे
Samuveta Yuyutsavaha
समवेत युयुत्सव
Mamakaha Pandava Chaiva
मामका पांडवाचेव
Kim Akurvata Sanjaya.
किम
किं
अकुर्वत
कुर्वत
संजय.
संजय.
Okay, anyone who would like to read the translation?
Translation?
Yes. Okay, I think Shelza, you have your hand raised. Please go ahead.
So Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?
Right. So, like I said, Bhagavad Gita, it's a dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, and we also hear Dhritarashtra who speaks this one shloka, and Sanjaya, who is a secretary of Dhritarashtra, he will speak also some verses in the Bhagavad Gita. So here, Sanjaya was blessed by the mercy of Vyasdev. He was a student of Vyasdev, so he was blessed to have a vision of the entire battlefield, and he was narrating it to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra was very, very anxious.
इथे लवकर विवा
Okay, I think Prabhu, you can mute everyone. Yeah. So yeah, I was saying that. So he had the blessing of Vyasdev, and from this shloka itself, we can see the anxiety of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay, "Oh Sanjay, after my sons and sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage known as Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?" Now imagine someone actually asking that, "Oh, India and Pakistan, they are at the border, right? And they've already declared war against each other, and they are standing opposite to each other, ready to fight and in a position to fire. What did they do?" Does this question sound reasonable? What did they do? Right? They're there to fight, so obviously they'll fight. But Acharyas explain that the mind of Dhritarashtra is revealed herein, right? So Dhritarashtra is someone who understood, right, that Duryodhan is actually on the wrong side. He understood that, but still, because of too much attachment to his son, he still encouraged him. Okay, go on, become the king. And even when Duryodhan conspired along with Shakuni and others to kill the Pandavas, that was such a heinous, act. And so many times, not once, not twice, they were their life was, under threat from them so many times, and he did not say a word. Right? He did not stop them. Right? So, as a father, the duty of a father is actually to correct the son. It is said that duty of a father and a spiritual master is to always correct, right? Always chastise, right? Otherwise, it's very easy for the children to go on the wrong path. And here he did not chastise him, nor did he oppose actually. So that was his great fault. So and here in this shloka, he is saying clearly, "My sons and sons of Pandu." So although Pandu was his brother, and after passing away of Pandu, all these five sons were entrusted to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was as good as their father, right? And the Pandavas, they took it like that. For them, it was not that Dhritarashtra is not his their father, right? So they took Dhritarashtra as their father. They respected him as a father. But Dhritarashtra did not consider them as their sons, his sons. So he's saying the Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. Mamaka means my sons, the Kurus, and the Pandavas Chaiva, right? So he's distinguishing or differentiating between his sons and the sons of Pandu. So this question assembled in the place of pilgrimage known as Kurukshetra, designing to fight. What did they do? So he did not want any truce. He did not want the war to be avoided. Right? He wanted the war. Right? And therefore, this question is very significant. What did they do? Because he wanted to make sure कि last minute कोई truce तो नहीं हो गया ना, right? And the war actually happened because of the obstinacy of Duryodhan. Right? Duryodhan, he said, I won't give as much land where you can drive a small pinhead without a fight. So Krishna himself had gone as a Shanti Dut. So we see Krishna, he's playing so many roles for the Pandavas, right? He's, in the Rajsuya Yagya, he actually took the service of, taking care of the shoes. Such a menial service the Lord took for, serving the Pandavas. He became the chariot driver of Arjuna. He became the Shanti Dut. So in all possible ways, right? The Lord is wanting to serve the devotee. As much as the devotee wants to serve the Lord wants even more to serve the devotee. There is a transcendental competition like that. So we see how the Lord went as a Shanti Dut. And what did Duryodhan do when the Lord went as Shanti Dut? Anyone knows or has seen Mahabharata or read Mahabharata?
Prabhuji, Duryodhan tried to capture Lord
Yes.
Krishna.
Sorry, I just to collect a book. Yes, Duryodhan tried to capture Krishna.
Yeah.
So, and when he tried to capture, what happened?
So they were not able to capture God. Obviously, he showed his, divine Rupa, so Roop to everyone, and nobody was able to. They were not able to capture.
Yes. So imagine that you have an enemy, right? And one of the members of his party is coming to meet you so that there can be truce. And you try to capture him. And why he was trying to capture? Anyone knows? So Duryodhan had already approached Krishna, and Arjuna had already, last time we discussed how both of them approached Krishna and Duryodhan took away the Narayani Sena. Remember? Right? So imagine a person who's coming to beg, oh, please give me your army, right? And he receives it. And then from whom you receive, the same person is coming as a, peace messenger. And even then, Shakuni, he suggested that, Krishna is very powerful. And if he is with Pandavas, their strength is, very, very great. So, why don't you finish him off right here? So, because Krishna was alone, Krishna doesn't need any bodyguards, right? Krishna was alone there. And without any weapon, he entered an entire assembly, the palace of Duryodhan, which was filled with, the entire military, all the guards and everyone. So Duryodhan thought this is a very good opportunity. Let me just capture him, kill him. So the Pandavas' morale will be completely broken. They won't even dare to fight me, right? So he tried to capture, and then Krishna showed his universal form. Right? So even before he showed universal form to Arjuna, he showed it to Duryodhana and party, right? And imagine how foolish Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, and others are, that even after seeing, such a display of Krishna's strength, and the universal form, they are still wanting to fight, right? Who will be so dumb, right? So when you are covered by ignorance, this is how people behave, right? And here also, Dhritarashtra doesn't want any truce, right? He wants the fight because he is hopeful that okay, somehow my sons will be victorious. He's hopeful, even though he knowing that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, right, and he was also in particular worried about. So, imagine, the worry of Dhritarashtra is worried about the influence of the place known as Kurukshetra. Right, Kurukshetra is Dharma Kshetra, so he's worried that this place is very, very religious or pious or holy place, right? Place of pilgrimage. So Pandavas being naturally very, very pious or on the side of dharma, the place will be favorable for them, and it might result in the victory of Pandavas. So he was very, very worried about the influence of the place called Kurukshetra. Now the history of this place is in the same Kuru dynasty. I think I mentioned this last time. I'll just repeat it. So in the same Kuru dynasty, King Kuru, one of the ancestors, by the name of the entire Kuru dynasty's name. So he basically performed a lot of sacrifices in this place, and he pleased Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu said, he appeared to him and he said, anyone who dies on this, in this place while fighting or by performing austerities, he will go to Swarga for sure. Right. So it's very, very, and even this was such a pious place, even the demigods would come to perform their sacrifices, yagyas in this place. And like mentioned last time, the river Saraswati is flowing, near this area. Again, river Saraswati is a very mysterious river. It's invisible to our eyes, but it's there. Right? So that's the significance of this place, and therefore he was worried that this might have favorable results for the Pandavas. Right? So, so this is why he's inquiring what did they do, right? And Srila Prabhupada in the purport he's describing how it's already given that the unwanted weeds like Duryodhana will be rooted out where Krishna is present along with Arjuna. Okay, so we'll get on to the next verse. If you have any questions, any reflections, anytime you can stop me and we can delve on that. Otherwise, today we have 20 shlokas to cover, so we'll be going at a quick pace.
Sir, extremely sorry. My speaker remained unmute and
No worries. That's okay.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to add a small point.
Yes.
In this story, when Krishna showed his divine roop to everyone, there were only two people there in the courtyard who could actually see his, roop, divine roop. It was only Bhishma and Vidur who were able to see his Swaroop. Rest everybody was, astonished and they with the bright light and they could not see anything. Just wanted to, add it as I remembered.
Sure. Thank you for that. Okay. So repeat after me. Sanjaya Uvacha.
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Acha.
Drishtva tu Pandavanikam.
Drishta tu Pandavanikam.
Yuddham Duryodhanastada.
Yuvtam Duryodhanastada.
Acharyam Upasangamya.
Acharayumupasangamya.
Raja Vachanam Abravit.
Raja Vachanam Abravit.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
I can do.
Yes, please.
Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhan went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
So Sanjaya, he understood that the king is really despondent or he is morose, right? So, he then thought, okay, let me inform the king about his son Duryodhan immediately. So he said, "Oh king, after looking over the army arranged in the military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhan went to his teacher and spoke the following words." So let's see what Duryodhan spoke. Okay, the Prabhupada here in the purport, he mentions that Dhritarashtra was blind by birth, but unfortunately he was bereft of spiritual vision. Very, very important, right? And he knew very well that his son was also equally blind in the matter of religion, and therefore he was not sure that he could, and he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas. So he was doubtful again, like I said, of the influence of the place Kurukshetra, and Duryodhan is now going to talk to his teacher. So who's the teacher of Duryodhan?
Dronacharya.
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 Pashyaitam Panduputrānam
पश्यैता पाण्डुपुत्राणाम्
Acharya Mahatim Chamam
आचार्य महतीं च मुम्
Yuddham Drupada Putrena
रुद्रपुत्रेण
Avashishena Dhimata.
तव शिष्येण धीमता.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent discipline, the son of Drupada.
Yes. So Duryodhana was actually a very great politician, right? And he could have mentioned Drishtadyumna. So here he is referring to Drishtadyumna. He could have easily mentioned Drishtadyumna, right? But he is saying, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, son of Drupada, right? The Drishtadyumna was son of Drupada, and he was the commander-in-chief for the Pandavas, and he had arranged the military phalanx. So here, Duryodhana is actually taunting Dronacharya, his teacher, that look, it is your disciple who's expertly arranged this entire military phalanx on the opposite side. And who is he? He's the son of Drupada. Anyone knows the history of Dronacharya and Drupada?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, who's that?
So this is Shelza. So actually, Dronacharya and King Drupada, they were together when they were, in the Gurukul. And later on, because Dronacharya was not very well-to-do, and Drupad was a king. So once he went to Drupad, to make it short, I'm just cutting it short. He went to Drupad for help, but Drupad said, how can you think that, you can be my friend? Friendship is always between the people of the same level. And Dronacharya felt very bad, and he kept a revenge that, I will fight with him. And then that's why they became enemies. And then they fought. And I think Dronacharya, he won. And in return, Drupada worshipped Vishnu, and he got a var, like a bliss. He got a blessing that his son will be the one who will kill Dronacharya.
Right. So just to add to that, so Dronacharya, he was again like Shelza mentioned. So they were friends. Drupada and Dronacharya were friends. They went to the same Gurukul, and when Dronacharya was a Brahmana, of course. So, he was in a very, very pitiable condition. He did not have any money to even feed to his son. He did not have enough milk to feed to his son. And in that, distressful condition, after, nothing else was working, he went to Drupada for asking for help. And in the childhood, when, they were in Gurukul, once Drupada had said, "Oh, you are such a good friend of mine. You know, my half of my kingdom belongs to you. You know, you're such a good friend that half of my kingdom is actually yours." And he had promised that, when once I become the king, I will give you half of my kingdom. So Dronacharya, remembering this, right, and unable to, of course, he's a liberal Brahmana. He doesn't want to, make give him, make him give half of the kingdom. But he at least wanted some immediate relief so that he can actually have milk for his son. So he actually went to beg a cow from Drupada. But Drupada, he did not even recognize Dronacharya, or he refused to recognize Dronacharya. And when Dronacharya was trying to remind him that, hey, I'm your friend, right? And I'm here because I'm in need. I need some help, right? So then he said, "Who friend?" Right? Friendship is between equals. It's not between a beggar and a king like that. So that he was very very badly insulted. So Dronacharya, he thought, this is too much, right? I came to him as a friend and he is insulting me like this. So he decided that this guy needs to be taught a lesson. So he did not himself fight because he knew that he would easily defeat Drupada. But to insult him, he thought that let me train and my disciples will actually fight him. So again, to immediately have some work, right? He approached where Kripacharya was already teaching the sons of Pandu and the sons of the Kauravas. Kripacharya was the acharya. He was teaching them military science. But then Dronacharya, he was disciple of Parshuram. He was disciple of Parshuram. He was so expert, no one could actually defeat him. He was so expert because obviously disciple of Parshuram. So what he did was, while these boys were playing, they were young boys, they were playing, and their ball fell into the well. So what he did was to pull out the ball. He took, I think he took blade of grass
Yes.
and he aimed at the ball, and then one after the other he
One after
aimed
the
blade of grass and almost made like a string, and then he pulled out. And seeing that, all the boys were like, "My God, we've never seen such a display of expertise in shooting arrows or military science. This is too good, right?" And so they went and spoke to Bhishma Dev that such and such person was there and this kind of episode happened. In fact, Dronacharya only suggested you go and tell grandfather Bhishma because he wanted work. So they went, they explained the entire story to Bhishma Dev, and Bhishma Dev then decided that yes, Dronacharya should be the teacher for all the Kauravas and Pandavas together. So that's how he became their teacher. And then as Guru Dakshina, when these these students were grown up, as Guru Dakshina, Dronacharya asked, "Go and fight Drupada and capture him and bring him to me." So Kauravas, they thought, "Oh, we capture," right? So they wanted to attempt first. So they went, and all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, they went with some more military also, big party, and they tried to attack. And they were so easily defeated by Drupada because Drupada also was very expert. And then the Pandavas, they decided, and there was no, and the I was hearing a devotee was describing, there was they just went ahead to fight the 100 sons, and there was no synchronization, there was no plan. They just went. They thought they were too egoistic. They thought, "Oh, we are so expert now, each one of us is like a Mahabali, so we'll easily capture this king. What is this king?" Right? And they were very badly defeated. And then when the Pandavas went, they were just five, right? They were just five. Not even taking a big military. They were just five, but they were so nicely synchronized. There was Bhima in the front. There was Yudhishthira and Arjuna. Yudhishthira at the back, Arjuna in the middle, Nakul and Sahadev on the sides. They were very well synchronized, and they attacked in a way. Although there were tens and thousands of people on the side of Drupada in his army, still they could capture Drupada. And then they brought him in front of Dronacharya. And Dronacharya said, now you've been captured. Your kingdom now belongs to me, right? So, and he reminded him of his promise that half of the kingdom will be mine. So now I give you half of the kingdom in charity, right? Now we are equals. Now we can be friends, right? So Dronacharya still did not have any misgivings in his heart that, oh, I want to destroy him. He just wanted to teach him a lesson. So now he became equals, and that now we can be friends. So externally, Drupada accepted. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. But internally, he was burning in rage because of the insult. He was very badly insulted, or he felt very badly insulted, rather. And he thought, let me do something. I need to kill this guy, right? So he performed sacrifices. He approached so many, sages. He do this sacrifice for me. I want a son who can kill Dronacharya. And everywhere he went, people said, you're mad, right? The rishis, the sages were intelligent. They knew what the purpose of this person is, and they never supported him. But then there was, I think I'm not able to remember the name of the sages. There were two brothers. So he approached one brother, and he was, very, very intelligent spiritually. So he said, I'm not going to do this. But he was still begging that, oh, no, I went everywhere, nobody is doing, etc. So he said, okay, my brother, he can do things for, some money. So probably go to him. He might be someone who will accept your request. So he goes and then he agrees. And then the yajna is performed where the Drishtadyumna is born, and he's born as a fully grown man with, all the armor, etc., ready to fight, kind of, right? So he's born, Draupadi is born, right? And so Drishtadyumna's purpose of birth was he will be killing Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this. He knew this. Still, Drishtadyumna went and approached Dronacharya to learn the military science. And being a very liberal Brahmana, Brahmanas are liberal by heart. That's their nature, right? Being a liberal Brahmana, knowing that this person, the very purpose of his birth is to kill me, he said, okay, fine, I'll teach you. And he revealed all the secrets of military science to him. And that is exactly what Duryodhana is taunting him here. That look, right, what did you do? Right? It's your own student, right? You knew he's going to kill you, and he's the one who's now arranged the army for the Pandavas. So he's kind of taunting him. All right, let's get on to the next one. And also he was trying to say Drupada just to incite anger of Dronacharya, so that he doesn't become lenient towards Pandavas. Atra sura maheshvasa Marjana samayudhi
Yadhi
Yudhano viratascha
Yudhano Viratascha
Drupadascha maharatha.
Drupadascha Maharatha.
Anyone wants to read the translation? So let's make this quick. Anyone who wants to, please unmute and start.
Okay, I'll do it. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great warriors like, hold on, I'm not able to see here, Virata and Drupada. Something is missing here.
Great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada.
And Drupada. Yeah.
So in the next few shlokas, Duryodhan will start describing, who are on the Pandava side, the great fighters, and he's trying to warn, Dronacharya and others that there are, it's quite a formidable enemy. And then he also describes his own party. So here he's describing that, there are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Everyone knew Bhima and Arjuna's strength. And he's saying it's not just these two guys, but there are more like them. So just be cautious, right? Okay, let's read the next one. Drishtaketuschekitana
Drishtketushchekitana
Kashirajascha Viryavan
Kashirajascha Viryavan
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha
Purujit Kunti
Bhojascha
Shaibhyascha Narapungava.
Shabashcha Narpungava.
Translation, anyone? Quickly.
There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Dashrata
Drishtaketu.
Chekitana, right?
Yeah.
Kashiraj, Purojit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaiba.
Shaibhya.
Shaibya.
So he's describing further who all are there on the other side. Let's move on. Yuddhamanyuscha Vikranta
Yuddhamanyusha
Vikranta
Uttamaujascha Viryavan
Uttam
Uttamoyascha Viryavan
Saubhadro Drupadeyascha
Saubhadro Drupadeyascha
Sarva Eva Maharatha.
Sarva
Sarva eva Maharatha.
Translation, anyone?
I'll do it, sir. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters.
So he's basically describing, very, very key important people who are very, very powerful. Okay. Asmakam tu vishishtaye
अस्माकं तु विशिष्टाये
Tanyabhota Dvijottama
तान्निबोध
Dvijottama
Jyotama
Nayaka Mama Sainyasya
नायका
Mama Sainyasya
प्रज्ञार्थ ताम्रवीतं
Samagnartam Tan Bravimite.
ताम्रवीमिते
Tambravimrite.
संज्ञार्थं ताम्रवीमिते.
Translation, anyone?
Translation I will do, sir. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force.
So here now he starts describing, and again he's a very great politician. So why he's warning, look, there are so many great heroic fighters on the other side. He did not want to discourage his own people just by glorifying the strength of the enemy. So now he's trying to describe his party, who all are there, right? Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha
Bhavani Bhishma Shashkarnascha
Kripascha Samatim Jaya
Kripashascha Samitinjaya
Ashwathama Vikarnascha
Ashwathama Vikarnascha
Saumadattis Tathaivacha. So he starts off by saying there are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and a son of Somadatta called Bhurushrava, who are always victorious in the battle. So here again we can see how he's very, very diplomatic, right? And so although Bhishma Dev is the senior most, right? Grandfather Bhishma is the senior most. So ideally he should have started with him, but then he thought, no, this is my teacher, and he's a Brahmana. So Brahmana is higher than the Kshatriya. So ideally, as per the Varna, I should address Dronacharya first, that he is there, and then Bhishma Dev is there, like that. So and he thought that Bhishma Dev also won't mind, because he also understands that the Brahmana is higher than the Kshatriya, although Bhishma Dev in other terms is senior. So like that, he decided, okay, to address that, okay, you are there. First of all, he's addressing Dronacharya that, yes, you are there, Bhishma Dev is there, Karna is there, Kripacharya is there, Ashwathama is there, and Vikarna is there, right? So, I think Vikarna, right? Just give me a second.
Yeah, Vikarna.
Oh, yeah. So, Vikarna is actually, one of the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. And surprisingly, Vikarna was not that a great warrior, right? He was not there in comparison to any of these guys. Right? So, still, Duryodhan, he mentions Vikarna. Why? Because Vikarna was the only person from the side of Dhritarashtra, or from the side of Duryodhan, who objected when Draupadi was being attempted to be distrobed in the assembly of the gambling match, right? So he was the only person who objected. So just to ensure that this person is also on my side, right? He just to kind of falsely, he's trying to glorify him so that he feels happy, and he is giving full support to Duryodhana. So therefore, although this Vikarna doesn't belong in the category of these other warriors, right? The other warriors, they're described as Timingala. What is a Timingala, right? So everyone has heard of blue whale.
Yeah,
How big is the blue whale?
largest mammal.
Yeah, largest known mammal, not the largest mammal. Is the largest known mammal to us. Right. So, blue whale, I think I somewhere read that even a baby blue whale is, if you have some 8 to 10 elephants standing in a line, that's the size of a baby blue whale. So, the blue whale, of course, is the largest, and according to what we know. But how much do we know? So, if you see the statistics, I think only 7 to 9% of the ocean has been explored by man. 91 to 93, I'm not getting the right figure right now. My memory is failing me right now. But I think 91 to 93%, somewhere between that, is the unexplored water mass, right? So Timingala is actually aquatic animal which basically can swallow a blue whale. So imagine the size, right? Imagine how huge this aquatic animal would be, right? That it can actually swallow a blue whale. So Timi means, say for example, a whale or a blue whale, and Gala means one who can swallow. So these warriors were compared to Timingala. They could swallow 10,000 men at a time. Like Bhishma Dev had actually vowed, I will kill 10,000 soldiers every day. And he was doing it. And day one, Duryodhana was so happy, right? Because Bhishma Dev particularly had caused a lot of damage to the side of the Pandavas. So such personalities were fighting against the Pandavas. And each one of them was enough in one sense, right? So Vikarna is not there at all in their category, but just to, make sure I should, butter him a little bit. So he's taking his name. Okay, let's see the next one. Anye cha bhava shura.
अन्ये च बहवः शूरा
Mad arthe tyakta jivita.
मदर्थे त्यक्तजीविताः
Nana shastra praharana.
Shastra-praharana.
Sarve yuddha visharada.
सर्वे युद्धविशारदाः
Visharada.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science.
Right. So he never wanted to, discourage the others कि भाई आपका नाम नहीं लिया, right? So he's saying there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kind of weapons and they are experienced in military science. So there were many others also, and even the soldiers. So he did not want to, again in his diplomacy, make anyone feel कि अरे मेरा नाम नहीं लिया. So he's just making a general statement covering everyone in that sense. Yes. Aparyaptam tadasmakam
अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं
balam bhishmabhirakshitam
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं
paryaptam tvam paryaptam tva idam eshita etesham sorry
पर्याप्तं
तेषां
balam bhimabhirakshitam.
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितं.
So here in this, okay, let's first read the translation. Actually, anyone who wants to read the translation?
Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
So here he's trying to say that our strength is immeasurable because we are protected by grandfather Bhishma. Samne wale they are carefully protected by Bhima, but his strength is limited. And actually Bhima in comparison to Bhishma, there was no comparison. Like I said, if Bhima or Arjuna are Timis, they're like blue whales. Bhishma is Timingala who can just swallow them, right? So he's trying to boost the morale of his army that look, we are going to win, right? And Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, one of the great acharyas, he translates this verse in a different manner, right? So aparyaptam tadasmakam. Aparyaptam is indicated here, and paryaptam is limited. So another way in which this verse can be translated, and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, he kind of touches upon that. Aparyaptam could also mean insufficient. And paryaptam, because Lord Krishna is with them, it's paryaptam, it's sufficient. Right? So in one sense, Duryodhana himself is saying that, although we have so much military power, it's still aparyaptam, it's insufficient. Right? Whereas since Krishna is there, it's paryaptam. They are sufficient. Everything is sufficient in terms of strength on the other side. And Duryodhana, he knew that Bhishma is very, very important, right? So therefore, he's trying to, indicate in the next verse what should be the mood of the entire army. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avastita Bhishmam eva bhirakshantu bhavanta sarva eva hi. Anyone who wants to read the translation?
All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army.
Yeah. So here he's saying all of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma, and as you stand at your respective strategic points of the entrance into the phalanx of the army. So again, in his diplomacy, where he glorified Grandfather Bhishma, right, so much that okay, our strength is immeasurable because Bhishma is with us, right? So he wanted to make sure that others don't feel less important, right? So he thought, okay, let me say this, that while Grandfather Bhishma is fighting on one side, right, he also needs support because the enemy might attack from the other side. So all of you are very important. Even the foot soldiers, you guys are very important because you should make sure that the enemy cannot, attack on Bhishma on the other side while he's engaged with someone else. So you have a very, very big role to play. So he's trying to diplomatically, boost everyone's morale that you are also equally important, right? Although it was a dharma yudh, and it was decided that, when one person is fighting, the other person will fight with only one enemy. Not that, 5, 6 people will together, 5, 6 Maharathis will together attack one Maharathi or one Rathi, like that. So these rules were laid down already. Okay. Tasya Sanjayan, Tasya Sanjan, sorry,
Tasya Sanjana
Sanjanayan,
Sanharsha
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham,
Guru Vruddha Pitamaha
Guru Vriddha Pitamaha,
Guru Vruddha Pitamaha
Simhanadam Vinadyochai,
Sihanadam Vinatyochai
Shankham Dadmau Pratapavan.
Shankam Dadmo Pratapavan.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
Bhishma, the valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy.
Right. So while Duryodhana was praising Bhishma, Bhishma could understand and the entire diplomacy and the inner meaning of what Duryodhana is trying to say, and he knew that since Lord Krishna is on the other side, Bhishma Dev was very clear that we don't have a chance, right? Still, just to cheer him up, cheer his grandson Duryodhana, he blew his conch shell and making a loud sound like a roar of a lion. So, and Duryodhana felt like really, really happy about it. Because Bhishma Dev was doing this because it was his duty, right, to conduct the fight. Although he knew that the other party's virtues and they will win, still it was his duty as a Kshatriya to fight. So he was ready to do that, and therefore he kind of started blowing his conch shell. Okay, sorry. No, that's fine. I was looking for my phone. All right, let's read the next one. Tataha shankascha bhreyascha
तथा शङ्कश्च भैर्यश्च
vanavanaka gomukha सहसैवाभ्य हन्यन्ता शब्दस्तु मुलो भवात्. Anyone wants to read the translation?
After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous.
So once Bhishma blew his conch shell, all the others, they also blew their conch shell, and it was an uproarious sound. Tatha shveter hayer yukte mahati syandane stitau madhava pandavaschaiva divyau shankau pradadmatau. Anyone wants to read the translation?
On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells.
Right. So on the other side, Krishna, Arjuna, and the Pandavas, they started blowing their conch shell. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the sounding of the transcendental conch shells indicated that there was no hope for victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Vesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is always with persons like sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. And wherever there is Lord Krishna, Goddess of Fortune, of course, is there. So Lakshmi ji, Lakshmi is Chanchala, right? She's cannot stay in one place. The only place where Lakshmi is sthira, she's stationed, is at the lotus feet of Narayan. Right? She's always massaging the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So wherever there is Krishna, Shri, right? We say Shri Krishna, Shri or Lakshmi is always there, and therefore victory is always there. Right? Good fortune is always there. So on the side of Arjuna, since he's connected to Krishna, Krishna is there, the supreme person. Lakshmi is there, good fortune is there, right? And besides that, uh, the chariot that both Krishna and Arjuna were seated on was given to them by or donated by Agni. So there was this whole episode of, the Khandav Prast, wherein Agni had indigestion, right? Agni had indigestion, and to cure his indigestion, he wanted to eat up the Khandava forest, which had so many herbs, which could cure the indigestion. So he took help of Krishna and Arjuna defeated some demons, etc. And Agni could easily then, eat the entire forest. And being pleased, Agni then donated this chariot to Arjuna, drawn by white horses, 5 white horses. He also gave some other gifts, but again, this is quite significant. Right, let's read the next one. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho
Panchajanyam Hrishikesho
Devadattam Dhananjaya
Devadattam Dhananjaya
Foundaram Dadamau Mahashankham
Foundaram Dadamau Mahashankham
Bhima Karma Vrikodara. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew the Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Foundara. So you can see even the conch shells are having names. So this is something you can also kind of remember, right? So Krishna's conch shell name is Panchajanya. Arjuna's is Devadatta, Bhima's is what was Bhima? Foundara. Yes, Foundara. So this is the Vedic culture, right, where everything is personal, right? Right now, the entire world is actually influenced by impersonalism. Impersonalism means that there is no personal touch. We are not connected to each other like we used to be in the early days, right? People used to meet. There was a great heart-to-heart connection, right? And even the smallest of items were given names. Right now, it's become all impersonal, use and throw, right? And even the relationships, they've become very, very superficial or surface level, right? So Srila Prabhupada here is describing Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha, right? He is the owner of all senses. The living entities are part and parcel of him. The impersonalists cannot account for the senses of living entities, and therefore they're always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal, which means that we have so many friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, right? But like I said, the personal touch is lost. The actual relationship is lost. It's just superficial, right? So this is the root of impersonalism. How our dealings are becoming more and more impersonal, right? Earlier we used to call someone to do small work, and there used to be interaction, transactions. Right now there are machines doing all the job, right? So our interaction with humans is actually reducing more and more. We are interacting with machines more, right? So and this impersonalism extends into, oh, God is impersonal. God is also not having any personality, or Bhagwan is just some light, some energy. Actually, the supreme absolute truth is known in 3 features. Krishna describes Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yagnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdite. The absolute truth has 3 features. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. We discussed this during the 3-day course in Bhagavad Gita, right? And we understood that how the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the full understanding. Lord is a person. He's not just some energy, right? Just some light. So the impersonalist, they are very, very anxious to, describe everything without any senses, without any personality, without any, nature, like that. But the Lord, He is actually Rishikesha. He is someone who is sitting in everyone's heart, and He is directing everyone's senses. To the degree of the surrender of a person, He is willing to direct them. Arjuna, he surrendered completely. So Krishna is taking charge and he is directing the senses of Arjuna, right? By externally instructing and internally also inspiring, right? So pure devotee of the Lord, he actually carries Krishna within his heart. Okay, I think someone has a question. I see a hand raised. Okay. I'll just finish the statement and then I can address the question. So Krishna is actually sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But for a pure devotee, Krishna is personally present in their heart. And for a pure devotee who surrendered to Krishna, his senses become transcendental because now Krishna is directly controlling them. And therefore we sing in Guru Puja, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriha Ikya Arna Kariho Mane As, right? The words of spiritual master, one needs to follow very, very sincerely. Why? Because these words are not different from the words of the Lord. How? Because now the senses of the spiritual master is completely controlled by directly Krishna. Because the spiritual master is fully surrendered to Krishna, his senses are completely controlled by Krishna. So whatever words are coming actually are inspired by Krishna. So it's Krishna speaking to you in one sense. Not that spiritual master is God, but he's a representative of God and he's the transparent via media for the Lord to interact with you and for you to interact with the Lord. Right? So with this surrender, with the kind of degree of surrender spiritual master has, he becomes the transparent via media for the Lord to speak to you. Right? So to the degree one is willing to surrender, to that degree, Krishna is willing to control, become, the controller of, or he's actually rather already a controller of all our senses, but he willingly takes charge. If we are offering charge to Krishna, Krishna will willingly accept the charge, and then, you can become a medium for, Krishna to act through you. Again, depending on the degree of your surrender. Right? And therefore, here Prabhupada is giving example. Right, the Lord has different names according to different activities. His name is Madhusudan, right? Because he killed the demon Madhu. His name is Vasudev because he's son of Vasudev. Devaki Nandan because Devaki is his mother. Yashodanandan because again Yashodama is his mother. Right. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha, which means master of all the senses. So here, therefore, we see in the Vedic culture how everything is so personal. So even the conch shell has a name. And of course, in the spiritual world, I'm just establishing the fact that in Vedic culture in general, everything is so personal. But in the spiritual world, right, everything is Chinmay or Chintamay. Right? Not Chintamay, Chinmay, sorry. Everything is conscious. So even a conch shell is actually living and conscious. Even the speck of a dust is actually conscious, right? It's a little, what you can say, it's beyond our imagination, but that's how it is, right? So pure devotee of the Lord, after becoming perfect in Shantaras, there are different rasas, right? After being perfected in Shantaras, becomes a blade of grass, becomes a speck of dust in the spiritual world. In Dasya Ras, he becomes someone, who's serving the Lord, just like Hanuman is, one of the foremost servitors of Lord Ramchandra. And we'll talk about Hanuman in a bit, right? In Sakya Ras, there are so many friends of Krishna like that. So there is Vatsalya and Madhurya Ras also, parenthood and, conjugal love. So even in Shantaras, there are these, Krishna, he's completely transcendental, right? His body is not material like ours. It's not made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, but it is Sat Chit Anand, right? And everything that Krishna possesses, paraphernalia, is actually an expansion of Lord Balram, right? So Lord Balram, he serves Krishna in many, many ways. In practically all the 5 rasas, Lord Balram serves. So Lord Balram serving Krishna in the Shanta rasa, he becomes the dham, right? He becomes the space or the place where the pastimes can be performed, right? He becomes the paraphernalia, right? Krishna's. So when Draupadi was needing, was being disrobed, and Krishna wanted to immediately go and save Draupadi. So before Krishna, and that was instantly, not even microseconds, right? When Krishna wants to go, he can go so quickly. Even then, Acharyas described how when Krishna wanted or he desired like that, before Krishna could reach, his dhoti reached first, which became the sari, right? So even dhoti is conscious, right? It's actually serving the Lord. So Balramji serves in so many different ways like that. Right? It becomes the paraphernalia, it becomes the dham like that. So even the conch shell of the Lord, of course, is transcendental, it's conscious, and of course it has a name, right? So Panchajanya. Similarly, for the devotees also, they are also part of the spiritual world like Arjuna and Bhima. So even whatever they have there, that's also conscious in one sense. Okay. Like again, just to reinforce this, Krishna, when he was, I think, Krishna, he killed Aghasura, and just after that pastime, there was Brahma Vimohan Leela, wherein Lord Brahma, he heard that Aghasura has been killed, such a big demon, and he thought, oh, Narayan must be there, and he came, and he saw small child Krishna playing with his friends, with a mound of curd rice in his hand, in his left hand rather, not even right hand, in his left hand, and he was sitting with his friends enjoying Vanabhoj, wherein everyone was sitting in a circle. Krishna was in the center. Everyone was passing whatever they had got from their home. Some they were opening their lunch boxes and passing things to Krishna for him to enjoy, and then Krishna was taking a bite and passing on like that. So they were all enjoying this in the forest. And then Madhu Mangal, one of the Brahmana friends of Krishna, she's not again in the past time he was not very, very well to do. So he was thinking, and he was coming from far, and he thought, all the boys, they're offering such nice dishes to Krishna. I don't have anything. I just have this chas, right? Feeling shy. He was feeling, he thought, let me not take it there. He was feeling shy. And he was feeling shy to, offer chas to Krishna because everyone was offering such nice palatable dishes to Krishna. So what he thought, let me just go like that and drink this chas quickly and then I will go. So Krishna won't even come to know that I had chas. But again, Krishna is Paramatma in everyone's heart, and he understood what Madhu Mangal was about to do. So Madhu Mangal opened the packet and was, trying to drink, and he saw Krishna running towards him. Right? Krishna got up and he started running because he knew what Madhu Mangal was about to do. So he immediately tried to drink everything at one go, right? And his face became completely filled with chas, right? And then when Krishna came there, what he did, Madhu Mangal was like this, and Krishna did. So all the chas from Madhu Mangal's mouth came out, and Krishna drank that. Right? Small children, they're playing like that, and Krishna drank that. We're like, hey, this is for me. How can you drink? Right? You're eating you're drinking everything for yourself. You're not keeping for me. And he, did this and drank the chas. And Brahma fell from there. Like, this cannot be the Supreme Lord. This cannot be Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by Purusha Shukta prayers, right? He is so great, such kind of opulent worship is offered to him. This cannot be Lord Vishnu. Right? So Lord Vishnu has, some 60 transcendental qualities. Uh, Krishna has 64. So he has Leela Madhuri and Prema Madhuri, Venu Madhuri and Rupa Madhuri. These are four additional things which Krishna has, right? Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, and Venu Madhuri. So, with this loving exchange, Brahma could not understand because his uh, thought was, or his way of looking at the Lord was awe and reverence. Right? He could not understand this exchange of intimate friendship. So he thought this cannot be the Lord, and he wanted to test the Lord. And he stole away all the boys and the calves, and he wanted to see what Krishna will do. So Krishna expanded. So it is described how Krishna expanded. He became each and every boy. Even the flute which each and every boy carried was Krishna. Even the, uh, wristband everyone wore was Krishna. Even the belt they wore was Krishna. Even the stick they had in their hand was Krishna. Even the calf that was being heard by these boys was Krishna. So Krishna expanded himself into everything like this, right? So likewise, everything in the spiritual world is conscious, right? Chinmay. Yes. Krishna Agarwal, Prabhu, you want to ask something? Your hand is up. Krishna Agarwal, Prabhu, you have a question? Maybe I think you must have done this in error. Okay. Right. So we are on Shloka 15. So this is a section where, of course, we are going a little fast because it's almost like giving the background story. As we go on from the next class, it'll be more philosophy. We'll be taking a few verses at a time. So this is a section we can still move a little bit fast. So we can probably do the power of choice thing next time because I think this only took a lot of time. So let's read this. I think we'll do up till the shloka 19. So this is 16 to 18 and then one more and then we'll open it for questions. Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Kunti Putro Yudhishthira.
Kunti Putro Yudhishthira.
Nakula Sahadevascha.
Nakula Sahadevascha.
Sughosha Mani Pushpakau.
Sughosha Mani Pushpakau.
Kashyascha Parameshvasa. Shikhandi cha Maharatha. Drishtadumno Viratascha. Satyakischa Parajita. Drupado Draupadeyascha.
Drupado Draupadeyascha.
Sarvashaha Prithvipate.
Sarvasha Prithvipate.
Saubhadrascha Mahabahu.
Saubhadrascha Mahabahu.
Shankhan Dadmu Prithak Prithak. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakul and Sahadev blew Sughosh and Mani Pushpak. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, and the sons of Draupadi and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. So after Krishna and the Pandavas, everyone on the side of the Pandavas were also starting to blow their conch shells. Right. Let's move on. The last one. Saghosho dhartarastranam. Hridayani Vyadarayat
Hridayat
Nabhascha Prithvim Chaiva
Nashcha Prithvimeva
Tumulo Bhayanunadayan.
Mulodayam.
Anyone wants to read the translation?
The blowing of these different conchs became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
So all these sounds, together, all these conscious sounding became uproarious, and the entire, earth and sky was vibrating. And here, the sons of Dhritarashtra, their hearts were shattered. When the party of Duryodhan blew their conch shells, there was no such mention that the hearts of Pandavas are shattered. There was no such mention. But here, when the Pandavas are blowing their conch shells, especially when obviously Krishna and Arjuna they're blowing their conch shells, the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra are completely shattered, right? So this is again, Prabhupada mentioned, this is due to the Pandavas and their confidence in Krishna. So whosoever is confident in Krishna, right, they can do anything. And that is also reflected in the way they're blowing their conch shell with full enthusiasm, right, which is shattering the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra, right? So here I think the last line, it says, one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. So I would have wanted to, discuss a little bit on choice, power of choice, but I think we are already out of time. Okay, it's already 12:30. So any questions, any reflections on what you heard? Anyone wants to share anything? We can spend about 5-7 minutes, and then we'll do a short kirtan in the class. Any questions? Anything which you liked about in the class? Reading through these 19 shlokas.
Can you send me this meeting ID on my email?
Who was that?
Krishna Agarwal.
Yes, Prabhu. So yeah, we can share this. You want it right now? You want it? We are almost about to end, but yes,
after the
class. Yes.
Because that's.
Prabhuji, for quickly doing this, it'll be great if you can write your email ID. Otherwise, we'll also look into the data that you've already given and pull it out from there. But in case if you can just mention it quickly in the chat box, we can do it right away for you.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? Anyone or any reflections?
Sir, you have made the groups.
Yes.
So my name is not there in that.
Okay, let me just get out the sharing view. Yes, who was that? Sorry.
Shantala Padukone.
Yes. So, all right. So, like I said, we will be. So you're there in the main WhatsApp group, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there are already some groups made. You are aware of the timings of the 5 different groups?
No.
No. Okay. So what I'll do is I will share the timings plus the list of group members in an Excel sheet. I will also share a message so that you can understand the timings directly in the chat also. And basis whatever time suits you, you can figure out which group you want to join, and then we can get you connected to that group very easily.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Prabhu, is it possible for you to just add that in the chat right now? From the last time what we posted the list, if it's available, so people can just have a look right away. WhatsApp group mein hai. If you can just copy paste it, I think that will be helpful. Yes. Any other questions or thoughts?
Can I just share my aha moment for the session?
Please.
So, 2 things what I observed, and I really felt very nice, and tears also came into my eyes. First is of course, Sanjay, who was secretary to the king, was very lucky because he could hear all the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna
Mhm.
from Krishna's mouth.
Mhm.
Today, I also felt very lucky listening to the same shloka. Like you said, whoever speaks, it's via, God is a representative.
Mhm.
First was that aha moment for me. I felt like I am as lucky as Sanjay.
Yeah,
And
because
second,
because we are hearing it from the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada, right? So
yeah,
we're completely lucky because Prabhupada has made it so simple for us, and he's actually speaking to us through his books.
yeah. And the second aha moment was when you explained how Krishna ran towards his friend and drank that buttermilk from his friend's mouth, who might not be rich or anything, you know, and have it. That means वो झूठा भी खाया उसने.
Right.
And we feel that, we should have grand bhog, this, that, for to impress God. And I was feeling, oh my God, this is such a smallest tiny bit he did. And I felt so I don't know, I felt so nice. I had a different idea altogether about everything, and it boiled down to this much. It boiled down to only this much.
So Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janardana. He accepts the mood in which the offering is made. And he says in 9th chapter, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, No me bhaktya prayachati. So the bhakti, right, offering with devotion is the most important. Not that I am actually a billionaire, but I will only offer, pani Bhagwan ko de do bas ya thoda chas de do, it's good. No. So Krishna sees the mood in which you're offering or the attitude in which you're offering. If you have the means, you should offer the best kind of, chappan bhoga or whatever, right? Lord Krishna in Jagannath Puri is known as Lord Jagannath, and there every day, every hour he accepts chappan bhoga. There are 756 chulas there, which are the size of a well, right? And each pot, there's a big pot wherein you can also sit inside that bigger pot. Like that, one pot after the other, 8 pots are lined on top. Of course, the bigger, then smaller, like that. So 8 pots are kept one after the other, and cooking happens on 756 chulas like that. So 756 multiplied by 8. That is the amount of bhoga that is being offered to the Lord there. And the unique thing is that the food at the bottom is not burnt, the food on the top is not uncooked. So it is said that Lakshmi Devi herself comes to prepare that bhoga for the Lord. So yeah, depending on your means, you can offer as much, and Krishna will accept that mood of love. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Shantala Mataji, we've also put in chat, if you can access the chat, यहाँ पे सारे ग्रुप्स का कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर दिया हुआ है, टाइमिंग दिया हुआ है. सो आपको जो भी सूट होता है, you can take the numbers and connect with them. ठीक है? Any other questions, any other reflections or thoughts?
Sir, in all the stories, Dhritarashtra is always projected as this weak person who goes down the wrong path for the love of his son, kind of thing. But in reality, did he have any personality, or was he just this sum total of him?
So I'm not sure if I can comment on that, but yeah, of course. Yeah. Parthapriya, you want to say something, please?
I just, I think reading or hearing, so it is described as, even Dhanvanti is describing, that we are hearing the same message of Bhagavad Gita. So it is described the same message of Bhagavad Gita was heard by Arjuna also and Dhritarashtra also, because he was hearing from Sanjay. So both of them heard it. The difference is that Arjuna accepted it at that very moment, whereas Dhritarashtra accepted it only after losing all his sons. So accept verily the message of Krishna because he was attached to his sons. And in a similar manner, if we are in this world also attached to materialistic things, although we may hear the message of Bhagavad Gita, we may not be able to actually, progress. So it's only with time that we may realize that when things are taken away from us, that, what Krishna is actually telling is actually beneficial for us. It's an eternal message and it has to be applied. So Dhritarashtra, he did accept it. In fact, Vidura, his brother, had to come, and even after was over, Dhritarashtra was still there on the throne and he wouldn't want to leave. And Yudhishthir, he was such a gentle person that he did not mind. Even after, all the Kauravas were killed, he still did not mind that Dhritarashtra would continue sitting on the throne. But Vidura had to come and, tell him. He spoke very strong words to him. And that is when Dhritarashtra left the throne and he went to the forest. So eventually he did accept, but it took him time.
So I think this is very interesting for you to comment on this like that. So Dhritarashtra, Prabhupada describes, was spiritually blind, right? In the Prabhupada we read, spiritually blind. So although he had the great opportunity of, being in the presence of the Lord himself, like we just heard that he also heard Bhagavad Gita. In fact, there are so many, all the other, soldiers on the battlefield also heard Bhagavad Gita as such. So he heard Bhagavad Gita, but he could not accept immediately. Or he had the chance of having the presence of Krishna so many times. Krishna went to counsel him also, right? But and when Krishna was there as Shantidut, he was okay. Duryodhan trying to capture him and trying to kill him, etc. So he knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that, we also know. We also know, right? We are, although even knowingly also, we don't take up things seriously, right? So we should think, applied in our own life, that we should not, become spiritually blind like Dhritarashtra. Right? He held on and he needed a big kick in terms of his 100 sons being killed. Let's not wait for that. Right? Let's not wait for that kick. Let's be intelligent and take up the process very, very seriously. Right? Be like Arjuna, right? Or at least try and follow in his footsteps, whatever we can. And then Krishna will give us more capacity to, progress further.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, let's end the question session here. We'll do a quick short kirtan.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes, and then we'll end the class. Don't read the kirtan. You want to play? I can play if you want to play.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Okay. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Shri Ram Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Danvat Pranam. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.